as you can see,
so that's
I've
me
had a
finished playing with those
for now,
the
brakes, and until it comes to
strengthened those all up.
It does seem much more solid now, hinges, much less play in the whole
extra
system,
bolts in there. It just does seem a lot more solid.
I'll get back on with the wings.
So I'm going to leave them alone now. I've had enough with them. They've been quite a pain. Hopefully they're going to work. They're both sorted. I'll show you the other side. And there's the other one done. So stronger vertical bars. I've taken a link out as well, as I've decided didn't need it. I've just put 2 hinges in. Well, you can see the hinges there, the large silver one and the smaller black one beneath it. That black one's the only weak link I can see. Whether that might be a good idea to leave a weaker point in the system, I don't know, but that's how I'm going to leave it for now. So I'm back working on the wings. This is now the port spars. Got them partially drilled, laid out. As you can see, I've set them from the other end because this is going to be the port wing, and the starboard wing is done. So the starboard wing spars are there, set at the 7 degrees. That's the outboard end, 7 degrees there. And this is the inboard end. Wire bracing, that was a pain in the arse to do, was the wire bracing, and I've got it almost perfect. One of these is not quite as tight as I would have liked, that one, but it is so hard to do it by myself. It really is. You need 4 hands to do it. So relatively pleased with that. If it comes to it, I might, if I've got enough cable left, or I buy some more cable, I might redo that one. I don't like it when it's not perfect, but we'll see. It's not awful, but it's not perfect either. So this is the new wing out, and set from the other end. So if I go to the rear spar, so again I've set it up with the rear spar, as you can see, port wing, rear spar, inboard and outboard. So this is the left wing, the right wing over there, and you see we're going to get some size on this thing. They're going to get some scale. They're not cut back yet. I've got that hole drilled. I've got the other 3 holes on that side drilled. I've just got this one to do here and that one to do there. But I'm going to call it a day. Gone reasonably well today. I think I showed the brakes done there to some sort of fashion. Much happier with those now. Not perfect, but much happier. And that's it for today. Come back later in the week, maybe get this wing finished and braced, and see what cable I've got left over. And swages, those are the name of the things I couldn't remember before. So those are called swages, and use a Nico press tool, which I don't know what I've done with at the minute, but that is, I think I've shown it before. That's the Nico press tool there. And as I say, you need 2 hands to tighten that and 1 hand to keep the cable stretched. So I was using a ratchet strap, which worked 90% of the time really well, and the last one just didn't quite work for some reason. I don't quite know what went wrong with that. It's so awkward to get the press in onto the cable, the corner with the joint, with the these protector bits on, and then the swages as well. So, but all in all, not too bad. Get back at it maybe tomorrow morning for a while, but I've got a meeting tomorrow afternoon, so we'll see how it goes. Okay, we're back in that spot again. Clear bench, almost clear. I've started the wing ribs are the next thing, so I've just been marking out the template from the 2 wing profiles I've got there. We've marked out the template on a board. What I'm going to do is block that out, so I can bend the metal ribs around it. So that's the next part of the process. Instruction manual at the ready, sellotape of course, and there's another bending fixture there. That's so you can bend the metal in the right shape before it goes into this template here. So as you've seen before, fuselage there. On the wall there we have 2 wing spars, all sorted, all compression struts in, bracing wires in, all seem right. They look good. They both match at the right end, which is quite important really. So yeah, they're both exactly the same width apart because those have got to be joined. You can see them behind the dustbin there. That piece of wood is still the template I was using to keep the distances the same. So, got wing spars, we've got fuselage, we've got horizontal stabiliser elevators, and we've got a rudder. We're getting a bit of an aeroplane now. It's all gone fairly well. Quite happy with the process. The wood pile and template to be made. Back at work tomorrow, so I won't be down here. Maybe Thursday, come down and finish making this rib bending template. I've left it at the top of the board there so that I can fit the lower one in. As you can see, there is another shape for the lower wings, a much smaller wing. It is a sesquiplane, which is basically 1.5 wings rather than 2 wings. So if I can fit it on, I'll fit it all on this board, and then I'll always have the board as a template for making ribs should I need them. Hopefully we won't, but they'll be there if we do. Another day over. It's gone 9 o'clock at night now. I've been here and back a couple of times, and I shall keep you informed. As I'm about to leave, I thought I'd take a couple of shots of the hangar. That's something quite nice and peaceful about a hangar at night time. And that's all the craft. We're pretty jammed in, and I'm heading home. As you can see, I've spent more time doing some woodwork, creating some more jigs. This is the rib bending jig for the upper wing. Top surface around there, bottom surface obvious, and the plan is bend them to shape and then place them in this jig here that I've made. I've put a test piece in there, just a partial piece of scrap I had, just to see whether it would work. That's the plan. That piece isn't in there, but at that point there, that is where the rear spar will go. That is the front spar. That weld is just still wet, so I can't use it at the minute, and the plan is to do a 2-inch hole saw, which will cut off pretty much where you can see there. You can see that mark I've made on there. That was a hole saw, will cut off top and bottom, and they will then just tidy up and hopefully go on the front and rear spar of the wing when we slip them over. So that's the theory. We shall see if it works. I can't do it at the moment, but I can bend ribs, so I need to count how many ribs we need, and we'll go from there. So I say it's taken a couple of days to make those. I've tried to make them as smooth as possible because it is bending the metal. So that marker there is a point which I can mark the rib, and that should correspond to that point there. You can see the first one I've just been playing around with to make sure the system works, but hopefully that will be how it works, and so I can put that mark on the bottom one as well, and we'll go from there. So we'll see how this works, and I'll maybe get some ribs started today. Let's see. Well, I know I complained about the metal bending in the first few videos, but that was extremely satisfying to do those. We've got 10 top ribs on there, well 9 on there and 1 in the jig. I did make the mark, but I decided that if I made a groove for it to fit in, that's the point at which it fitted in on the other jig, and it fits nicely in there. So that's the top ones made. 10 of those. Obviously they've got to be cut yet, but yeah, that works pretty good. Pleased with that. We'll do the bottom ones next. I did make a slight adjustment to this jig, and I think I'm going to do the same to the bottom here, in that I put a metal plate to give it something more solid than the wood to push against, and I'm going to do the same with that on the bottom and then create the bottom ones, and I'll try time-lapsing that and see how it goes. Okay, that's 10 tops, 10 bottoms done. That should do all the top wing. There's a couple more bits to bend, shorter ones. I'll come back to those next time. But the top ones were really satisfying to do. The bottom ones not so much so. If that time lapse has come out, then I'll put that on and you'll see. But there was a lot of adjustment with the bottom ones, where the top ones just went fine. I don't know whether it's because I've got that drill spot in the slightly higher position than it should be, but it looked about right to me. Hopefully keep a good profile on the wing, so we shall see when we get to do it. So that's again, wing ribs, top wing ribs anyway, some of them done. Quite a good session. That's half of them. Then the next ones that you can see there, they're the other half, the shorter ones that go where the ailerons go, so I need to have a look into those next. But what I'll probably do is get these cut. I've left one in the jig just to see what happens, leave it there to settle overnight, but they all look pretty good. You can see there, they're all pretty evenly bent. Quite nice, and the same with those ones. They all look pretty even, pretty good. So yeah, that's another step taken. I'll keep you informed. So back in the workshop, been a couple of days working on different bits. I changed my direction a little bit and made some wing rib jigs. And they were quite a lot of woodwork for a metal aeroplane on this build. So I made those. They've worked pretty well. I've made one rib just to check the system works, fit it against the wing spars, and then I realised that the wing spars need to be fitted and rigged to the aeroplane before we make the wing ribs. So I'd only made the top wing spars, so I'm halfway through making the lower wing spars. So I'll show you a picture of those, and I'll get the jigs out and show you what I've done with those as well. Okay, so as before, the two lower wing spars are hanging on the wall there, and the tall one, which won't fit on the hooks, is the starboard lower wing spars, fully made up, bit simple ladder design. Well, they both are, but that one's even less complex, so that went fairly straightforward. And as you can see on the deck bench, we've got the port wing spar in the process of being made. I've got the bolt holes drilled, I've got the blocks shaped to fit on there. So next job will just be to bolt those together, and then my least favourite job, doing the wires, the bracing wires, and getting those fixed together. It's not an easy job really for one person. It'd be much better with 2 pairs of hands, to be honest. But yeah, coming on, and I'll show you the wing jigs I've made. So under the bench there, that's the bending jig, and I've made 10 ribs, upper and lower surface of the ribs there bent to shape. Those are crudely bent. The next process is I put them in this one. It's all marked out with the spars at each end, and what I do is I put a hole saw in there and cut the front of the wing ribs so the shapes to go across the main spars there, and from there we move on to the final rig there, which as you can see, that represents the front spar. That one represents the rear spar, and these 2 brackets are drilled and clecoed, as you can see at the minute, and they will rivet onto the spars. 2 rivets there and 2 rivets there when we put them over the wing, but I'll rivet them when they're in place. So it's just a case of following the contours of the plan, which you can see there, and I was quite pleased with that. It seems to work out all right. It needs a little bit of fettling at the end to make those fittings, but as you can see, they are pretty good, really. Can't complain at that. Not too bad at all. And those, of course, will have a leading edge sheet of aluminium over the front as well to hold them all in place. So that's the wing jigs, which I could say the word, that I've made. Quite complex in a way, as you can see. A lot of work getting them all to fit and hit the right profile. You can see in there the profile of the wing in the purple there that I've drawn. And yeah, so that's where I've been up to so far this week. I might get another day later on in the week, but we'll see. I hope at least if I can get the spars done, then I need to look at seeing how it rigs and see whether I've got room in here to rig the thing up. Might be a case of getting some help and moving this bench over to the side here, or maybe opening the big doors to the hangar there. We shall see. Again, as I've said all along, one step at a time.